A viewer asked me to do a video about tips for manipulators to treat normal people. So, with tongue very much in cheek, here we go. If you're a psychopath or a narcissist and you want some ideas for extracting even more from your victims, here are a few ideas, in no particular order. People respond better when they're treated well. Kids learn faster. Workers are more productive. Look at how your victim responded to love bombing. They gave you gifts, time, attention, love. They cooked meals, did the housework, everything. All to please you because you were treating them well. They even gave you the benefit of the doubt. Why do you need to switch and treat them badly? They're just not going to be as productive. I hear you say, it gives me more control. Well, one psychopath said the bullies gain control from making people afraid of them. Psychopaths get power from making friends. Anybody can be a bully. Not everyone can be a psychopath. Which brings me to the next thing. Stop breaking people. It doesn't benefit them and it doesn't benefit you. A broken person will provide a whole lot less. If you continue to be nice to them, they will be the gift that keeps on giving. You still have the same level of control. You're just getting more for yourself if they're in good shape. And besides, if you break them, you have to create a new one. In business, it's often said that it's easier to keep a customer than to create one. In the same way, it's easier to keep a victim than to create a new one. All that hard work, the love bombing, the investing time, feigning emotions. I know, it's an advantage. You don't even have to hide most of the time because most people don't suspect that you don't have emotions. But even still. Now, you're already good at delivering the minimum to keep the relationship going. A nice trick here would be to be selective about the lies you tell to your victims. So instead of making them believe that they are stupid, worthless, overly sensitive, unlovable, why not lead them to believe things that are equally untrue but will be of benefit to you? For example, you can trick them into thinking that they're very intelligent, extremely talented, a great financial supporter. Before you get antsy about this idea, I'm not suggesting that you say these things straight out. I'm not suggesting you get off your pedestal. But you can use that specifically vague language that you're so good at. You make suggestions, you give hints about something, your partner fills in the gaps and starts believing what you want them to believe. That way, if they ever claim you said something, you can deny saying it. So, for example, whereas in the past, when you wanted help but your partner wanted to do their own thing, you might have said something along the lines of, "Don't worry, I'll manage myself." They fill in the gaps, feel guilty and obliged to you, and give up their activity. If they say anything about it later, you can always say, "I never asked you to cancel your plans." So instead of that, you can say something along the lines of, "Not many people would have handled that as well as you did." They fill in the gaps and they think, "They appreciate who I am. They really value me." Later on, if questioned, you can always say, "I was just giving you a compliment." Or, "I don't say this to many people." They fill in the blanks and assume exclusivity and special status. If there are any issues with this later, you can simply say, "I never said you were special." That way, you never have to admit that they're as good as or even better than you, but you keep them in a great state. They remain productive and continue to give to you happily and willingly. That way, you keep them close, dependent, and needing you with the minimum of effort and the maximum plausible deniability. Another idea. Have you seen the series Dexter? It's about a psychopath whose father catches him killing animals when he's young. His father's a policeman, recognizes what he is, and teaches young Dexter to live by a code. This code is to kill serial killers who've been arrested but slipped through the legal system and have gotten off without punishment. Dexter hunts them down and does them in. I'm not suggesting that you become a serial killer. But with your special set of skills, there might be a way for you to be of benefit to society and earn yourself lots of fame at the same time. While ordinary citizens might be held back by fear, guilt, attachment, and ordinary human decency, you can remain firmly fixated on results. It's worth having to think about. Now, I understand the fame bit might be a bit tricky. You might have to use a pseudonym. Instead of the Dark Knight, you could use the Dark Triad. Captain America is taken, but I'm sure Captain Red Flag is available. They might not be pinning medals on your chest, but you'll have the satisfaction of knowing that you are unique, as usual, in being the only one who knows what's actually going on. When you're breaking up, give your partner some closure, for goodness sake. You're getting rid of them anyway. When stock market speculators are winning, they don't just keep going. Their idea is to leave a little on the table for the next guy. Well, you could do the same. Leave a little for the next manipulator to bump into. I'm sure you would appreciate it if someone did the same for you. And that's another thing. This idea of calling your ex months or even years after the discard. The discard is upsetting for the victims, as you know. They think you've gone forever, but they still fret about whether you're going to get in contact again. That dependency thing is very strong after all. So one night, you're alone, nobody to annoy, no source of supply, and you start flicking through your phone contacts looking for entertainment. You dial a number of an ex, no reply. You dial another one, no reply. That doesn't do your ego any good, does it? Why put yourself through that? Why upset yourself that way? What percentage of those types of calls work anyway? Ask yourself, is it worth it? You'd probably be better off spending the time to learn a skill that gives you genuine competence instead of just emotional control. One of the first things that victims often lose is their sense of humour. Many psychopaths and narcissists don't have a good sense of humour. It's not your fault. That's the nature of personality disorders. You were born that way. However, it might be a good idea to learn about humour. I know some psychopaths have actually studied it. Being able to make a joke of something often helps just to take the edge off things. And it also helps you to blend more easily, more seamlessly into society. That's always a useful skill, isn't it? Just saying. When my kids found out I was making YouTube videos, they told me not to say every time about likes and subscribing. So I'm not going to say anything about it right now. So for anyone who's struggling to actually get away from a manipulator, there's some ideas in this video here. Mind yourself. Take care.